This screencast is going to give you a little introduction to a website called Coggle.it. It's something I found when we went to Google Summit last year. It's not something I've used in the classroom yet, but I see a lot of different possibilities for it. It's a great mind mapping activity for students to either review what they've learned. They might be able to take notes using it, using the different branches that I'll show you how you can use it. And for pre-writing is how I plan on using it in classroom this year. So you're going to use Sign Up Now, but I already have a login. So I'll log in, and it's a Google app, so I can just use my Google account, no needing another password. And you'll see that I already have one Coggle already created. This was one we used, or I see us using after reading a book to review different elements of a story. What's really neat about this is there's no limitation on space. As your Coggle grows, you can move it around to make it easier to view. Each of these branches, when you drag on them, can be dragged around. There's no limit on how much text you can add into there. Here I'm just scrolling with my little scrolling mouse, but you can go as far down on the page as you want to, as far to the left or the right as you want to. So it really is kind of a neat way of showing how different ideas are connected and how you can keep building on it. Your home screen is back at this Coggle, and I'm going to show us how to create a new one. I plan on using this for pre-writing, so I might have my students write their essay topic in the middle. And once it's in there, you'll see that you have plus signs on either side, and this is where you can add the different parts. So I'm going to do an introductory paragraph, body paragraph 1, and then on this side body paragraph. Oops. Well, this is a good way to show you what happens when you accidentally click on something you don't want, which this has been a little bit tricky to learn to use. It's very touchy. Here I accidentally click this and I don't want it. If I hover over that plus sign and right mouse click it, it gives me a new menu of options. It is user-friendly once you've figured out how to use it, I guess, but I like how it shows you what each of these tools does. So I'm just going to delete that one and go back in here and click to edit. Body, oops, body paragraph number 2, and I could keep adding to that. Once I have it in there, I can move this branch around. Maybe I want a little bit more space between each of these ideas. Now that I have my introductory paragraph, I'm going to have students do what their hook is going to be, their background information on the topic, and their thesis. Oops. And I don't really like how this popped up by itself. It put the thesis above the hook, and that's not how I would have them organize it. So you can just drag that plus sign and move each of these things around. Once they have this set up, I would have them think about, well, what do you want your hook to be? What are you going to write about? So they can keep adding their information in here. What type of hook are they going to use? They could add the text of what background information they're going to use. They could add what their actual thesis is, and what they end up with is the text for their body paragraph. And we could do the same thing, I'm sorry, not for their body paragraph, for their introductory paragraph. And we could do the same thing for the body paragraph, their topic sentence, their first piece of evidence. And again, you can just move these around as much as you want to. And once this is done, they have a means of a visual that shows what each of their paragraphs is going to look like. So I gave you some examples on my website of different ones that I found used a lot in science class to organize concepts. I think it would be a good note-taking tool, a good tool to see, what do you remember from the topic that we've learned, and how those ideas connect. So this is just a really quick intro.